right, so the big question is, do the families have a case? Joining us right now, Larry Klayman. He's the founder of Judicial Watch and the attorney representing Patricia Smith and Charles Woods in the lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, along with Robert Zimmerman, a Democratic strategist and Democratic National Committee member. Good to see both of you. Larry, I know how hard this is on the families. I've spoken to Mrs. Smith, and I know she needs answers and wants some answers, but Hillary Clinton, as you heard Judge Napolitano just say, is effectively indemnified. I mean, how do you get a judge to take this case?
Trish, thank you for having me on, and I respect Andrew Napolitano, but he's wrong here. As the FBI director said, and as Mr. Giuliani said, the former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, Mrs. Clinton committed about 17 criminal violations in misusing her private email server. It's textbook law, in fact, Supreme Court law, that when you do that, you lose your immunity. So Judge Napolitano is just mistaken in this instance. He's wrong. Secondly, what we're doing here is trying to bring about justice. And that's the reason that I'm representing these clients, because Mrs. Clinton has skated for so many years. And this time she's done something which has caused the death of our clients, as we allege in the complaint. You can find it at freedomwatchusa.org. That's the group I founded after Judicial Watch. And you'll see from that complaint, it's a very simple complaint. And in fact, we have a tremendous chance of success. We've also sued on grounds of defamation because Mrs. Clinton told our clients, and Charles Woods, the father of Tyrone Woods, recorded this in his diary. You know, he was an administrative law judge, so he knows how to record evidence, that this was a attack caused by a video of the Prophet Muhammad. Well, Mrs. Clinton told the Prime Minister of Egypt the opposite. She told her daughter Clinton the opposite, and then calls our clients liars.
Right.
You can't do that. That's defamation.
You know, Robert Zimmerman, you know, but again, she was Secretary of State, and as challenging as this all is, and as difficult as it is for the families, is it not the government that needs to investigate this as opposed to a lawsuit here?
Trish, can I just make a point before we have a political discussion? That our prayers have to be offered to the families of the Benghazi victims, and we have to honor the heroic efforts of all those who passed in Benghazi. And we have to remember that first and foremost. Let me also point out, in terms of addressing this lawsuit, it wasn't just Judge Napolitano who dismissed this lawsuit, but Greg Jarrett, a Fox News anchor on commentary today, also dismissed the merits of this lawsuit. And let's also remember in this discussion that other members of the family, and it's been well documented, other family members who were present with Mrs. Clinton remember that emotional and difficult meeting very differently. Many of them have acknowledged that the videos were never, the concept of a video was never discussed at these meetings. So it's very important to have all the facts on the table. And the most important fact to remember is the reason this lawsuit has no merit at all, and the reason this lawsuit is nothing more than a political exploitation of a tragedy, is because of the character of the person who's bringing it, Mr. Klayman. Let's be very clear about this. He has accused the Clintons of engaging in plots to murder his associates. He accused President Obama of bringing Ebola into the United States so that it would further his the president's administrative agenda.
In fact, Larry,
it's more. Excuse me, Trish, if I can finish my point. If I can finish my point, Mr. Klayman was in fact.
Well, why don't you show your DNC talking points right now?
Robert just finished his point.
Let me finish my point.
Show the viewers your DNC talking points.
Don't interrupt me, Larry. I didn't interrupt you. Let's remember that you were temporarily disbarred in New York for your bigoted comments about an Asian American judge, and you're on record with bigoted comments against Jewish Americans as well.
All of that aside, Robert is saying that basically you have a vendetta against the Clintons, and that's what motivated this lawsuit. Your response?
This is typical of Hillary Clinton. He's just a shill for Hillary Clinton. I happen to be of Jewish origin myself, Robert. Robert, let me finish, okay? This is, as Hillary used to call it, the politics of personal destruction. The fact is, I'm the only lawyer ever to have a court rule that Bill Clinton committed a crime when he released the Privacy Act protected files of Kathleen Willey. Let me finish. I made no bigoted comments. I'm a strong supporter of Israel.
Were you disbarred in New York temporarily?
I was not disbarred. That's a lie too, Robert. So, Robert, watch your language here, because you've just defamed me.
Did you say
I was never disbarred in New York.
Did you say the president wanted to bring Ebola into the United States to further a terrorist agenda?
Larry,
you were going to let me finish. The president.
Larry, you go ahead.
I don't want to get off the point.
This is the question I have. In other words, Robert's saying that you are motivated for personal reasons, that you have made a career of going after the Clintons. I'd like you to respond to that.
Well, I might add, with the Clintons, corruption is a growth industry, so somebody had to do it. This government will not address it because the Washington establishment scratches its own back. You have people like Robert come out to try to divert the issues. We want justice here.
All right, I got to run. Thank you so much.
The memory of these people to be honored.
Here with me tonight,
Robert.
Larry and Robert.